Welcome to the Dirty Heifers Podcast. Soap making, small business, and so much more. Let's get dirty. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Dirty Heifers Podcast. I'm Margaret from Warm and Fuzzy Soapery, and I'm here with my sudsy co-hosts, Jessie from Country Lather Soapworks and Shauna from Bawana Bath & Body. And today we're diving into a topic that's close to my heart, giving back as a small business. Whether it's donating proceeds from a special soap, giving product directly, or just sharing your time, I think that everyone has a way to give when they can. For me personally, it's especially meaningful. I have a soap where all the proceeds go to a local veterans group, inspired by my brother Robbie's battle with his alcohol abuse. I've also supported breast cancer causes and even donated my time to teaching Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. But giving isn't always simple. Sometimes it can feel a little tricky to navigate. Let's kick off with our word of the week. Let's see if I can push it up. Are you ready?
All right. So
I totally gave y'all that one, huh?
You did. You said.
The spelling
I'm not going to
is
look it up.
Onerous. I already know.
One
what that's
Rouse.
I thought you were going to say one roo.
One roo, one rouse.
No, it's not
Okay.
spelled. It's not spelled right to be rude.
Right. That's right. Roo is
it's-
next, isn't it?
Yep. One Rouse.
It is not one rouse.
But
It
it's
is onerous.
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 Ain't done. It's one Rouse. And I think it's a singular person being overly rowdy. One person causing too much trouble within a group.
You identify with that.
I am one Rouse. One Rouse is me.
Okay. All right. That's not what onerous means, but perhaps we can make one rouse into a new
Hang on a minute.
redneck word of the week.
It cannot be onerous because owner is spelled O-W-N-E-R.
The Southern woman who drops letters frequently in her words is telling us it can't be
Yeah,
something.
seriously. I don't
Okay.
know what the root of the word is. It does not follow the typical phonetic rules.
You
Because,
said rude.
well, because if I don't have a pen up here.
Oh,
I don't
no.
have a pen up here.
What, did you
I'd
misspell
be-
this one?
You know what?
No.
Later on, you can add the little jumping dot.
The little jumping, well, it would be like, on would be your first syllable, right? So that your syllable would end here. So a vowel followed by a consonant ending this, the syllable would make
You need
this
a
a short
buffering
vowel.
thing above my head. 'Cause I'm
Right.
Going, huh?
ER is it's not a final stable syllable, but it's its own thing. It's a schwa thing. That would be the
It's
schwa.
a what?
A
It's
schwa?
schwa.
You get
It's
the
a-
schwa,
It's a schwa.
right? And then
What in the
O-U-S.
crap is a schwa?
a schwa. It's a little upside down E that makes that certain. You get a schwa over the E and a schwa over the A. No,
A schwing.
I'll,
Just call,
Anyway,
I'll
we
forget
just
teaching
call
that.
that upside down E.
Yeah,
I'm bringing
How
that back
about
now.
The
Shawing.
schwa. Shawing.
Shawing.
Wing.
How about if I gave you a sentence?
Oh,
Okay.
wait. A schwing. You're probably going to have to edit this out. A schwing. A schwa is a gay schwing.
Schwa.
Schwa. A little bit of sparkle. It's a schwa.
Okay. I'm going to go with that. But here's a sentence for onerous, right? Managing charitable donations alongside daily business tasks can sometimes feel onerous, but the rewards make it worthwhile.
Challenging.
Yeah, it's burdensome, challenging, burdensome.
Burdensome.
Or something that takes a lot of effort or responsibility. So that
It's burdensome.
is that. So now that we're all smart with our fancy word,
We're
do you have
smartificated.
a redneck word of the week? Let's hear it.
All
Jeez.
right. My redneck, it's actually 2 words.
All right.
But my redneck word of the week, or I guess you could say phrase, is booger light.
I shouldn't have been drinking when you said that.
What is
Booger-
booger light?
Booger lot.
Booger light.
Booger light.
Booger light.
Booger lot.
Light.
Booger light. Light.
Booger
Oh, booger
light.
light. Oh, okay. All right. I'm
Booger light.
a
And
booger
that's what
light?
the ENT surgeon uses to look up your nose.
I was gonna say, I have my implant in my nose here, and sometimes I use a
Did they use a
flashlight.
booger light to get up there and see what's
Yeah.
going on?
I use a
What you got
flashlight to
going on
look
there,
up
old uneven nose holes?
and see what's going on in there with my flashlight. So I'm gonna say that a booger light is the light you're looking up your nose with.
How many rednecks? Well, never mind. I better not. There's a lot of rednecks that'll use a flashlight to look up somebody else's nose. What's going on up there? Huh? Anyhow, no, you were incorrect.
Do you want to use it in a sentence?
Let's-
Maybe I'll.
All right. Before long, I'm gonna have to get me a booger light out in this shop yard.
Oh, it's like a light bug, a bug light, like
No.
like a zapping thing.
Nope, that's a bug zapper.
Okay. Well, then I have no idea.
I guarantee you, the way that you are with dark and outside,
Uh-huh.
when you move, you are going to want a booger light.
Oh, is this an outdoor light that keeps the boogers away?
It's an outdoor light. It's typically up on a pole. Because there's
And why
boogers
is it-
out there. It's a booger light, so you can see the boogers out there.
Boogers are in your nose.
No, there's booger like a coyote would be a booger. You know, a fox would be a booger.
Random
Booger
stranger?
light. Random stranger could be a booger.
That
Anything that
is-
can be anything that's living and breathing that could be dangerous is a booger.
We, our
That's-
first dog was named Booger.
Well, my dog was Sugar Booger.
We got Eddie and Dolly.
That was a genuinely new one to me. I have never heard.
So when you
Booger
move,
and
if you
booger
hear
light.
somebody say booger light, now you know what a booger light is.
You did suggest
Jesse,
that we
I don't
take-
think anybody in Tennessee says booger light.
maybe
At
not.
least not in Middle Tennessee.
You did say I'm Southern Tennessee.
Still middle.
That it'll be. I should get a light and put it out like 100 feet from the house, just so you could see all the wildlife and stuff while you're sitting on your porch.
That's a booger light.
That's a booger light. Okay.
That's a booger light.
Well, now you know.
Gosh, you must have told me that like a year ago, or something. All right.
I run across a video and they was talking about a booger light, and I'm like, ooh.
Yep, that was
I
a good
ain't thought
one.
about that one. I said, I'm going to stump them with that one.
Now that
Yeah,
you've
you
got
did.
me all redneckified, let's talk charity, right?
Smartificated.
We get redneckified and smartificated out here.
That's
And
right.
tangimanized.
Oh, before we start, for the people watching, Jesse, show them your new birthday hat.
I am the mini heifer, and it is official because I have got a hat that says mini heifer on it
That's true. This
with a millennial curl on it.
is, yes, you got it. If you're wearing your hair, no, I'm not even gonna say it. Your hat with the flat brim, that just looks ridiculous. Just looks
Yeah.
ridiculous. You got a curve.
That's
All right. So when we talked, because we decided today we're going to talk about charity, and for charity, I was thinking not just like soaps that we do. I'm talking about like all kinds of charity that we do
Right.
as a business owner, right? Like from soup to nuts, right? So what motivates you to give back through your business?
My very first few charitable acts, I guess you could say, as I became a business, is I would donate. You know, I was a member of the PTO at my kids' school, and you know, we would hold these silent auctions and such as that at our little events. But see, we was talking about
I said, what
Yeah.
motivates you to give back? Like, so what is your reason? What's the motivation behind wanting to give back through your business?
It's it's a desire to really want to support something that needs a little help. Like when I first started off with my business, I was also a part of the PTO at my kid's school, and we would have fundraisers, like what you call them, like fall festivals and such as that, spring carnivals, and at each one of those, we'd always have a silent auction. Well, I would always fix up like a bath bucket of some sort and donate that for them to auction off and make a little bit of money off of. And as I've grown and my kids I'm no longer in the PTO, and my kids are out of elementary school and into high school and such as that, not full PTO anymore. I try to support veteran organizations. I have supported the Patriotic Kenny Foundation with monetary donations, and the Gary Sinise Foundation as well. I tend to do more veteran themed donations.
Right.
Because face it, our veterans, they don't get the support they deserve.
Right.
The Patriotic Kenny Foundation is really cool because they equip disabled veterans that have mobility issues with those mobility scooters.
Right.
That is just...
I remember when he got his.
Yeah, I do too. I followed Kenny a long time, and then when he got that scooter, just the look on that man's face. And he's just as, go happy, go lucky in person as he is, as you would say. There's no difference between him on screen and in person. He's just awesome.
And what about you, Shauna?
Yes.
What motivates you to give back?
Honestly, I don't know if I can really put it to words. It's just, I've always been, wanting to volunteer or do something like that. When I was in college, I wasn't interested in Greek life, but my friends were part of a service fraternity that was co-ed and talked me into that. And it was amazing. We would go volunteer and do stuff. And it's just, I don't know. It's like, I hate to say it, but it's so true that I feel like when you give, you get back so much more sometimes. You do. And I know that when we started this business, my husband and I both had the heart to say that, we want to be in a position to be able to give back and make other people's lives better somehow through the business. So that was it. And most of it, like Jessie said in the beginning, has been people asking for baskets for raffles or fundraisers, things like that. That was how we started. We haven't done as much of that recently. I know people keep asking for it. It's just we've been moving in other directions. So
Right.
Yeah. I tend to get... I used to get a lot of requests for baskets and such as that for, this local thing and this local thing, but it wasn't local to me. It was local to the person that was asking, and there's no way to vet all of them.
Right.
It's not just that. It gets overwhelming eventually.
It does.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't want to give. It's this, am I really giving to a good cause? Is this legit going to this kind of thing, or somebody just requesting a basket and just going to keep it for themselves?
Yeah, I was just saying, my next question was going to be, how do you decide which causes or charities to support? Because the majority of the baskets and things that I do are for my kids' sports functions, the school, the scouts, things like that, the baskets that we give away. But there are soaps that I've made that we sell, and the proceeds go to, we gave for John's sister. We did a whole breast cancer soap with the ribbon, and she took some to donate to a place, I don't remember where, and then we also donated the monetary stuff to that place as well. So it's a lot to... Because as soon as you have a website, if you have a contact page, you're going to start getting those emails hey, what can you give me and how can you help out? So
most of the ones
how do you decide which ones that you do? Yeah. People you know?
Most of the ones are.
Yeah,
because it's
the
hard.
ones that I got were messages on TikTok.
Yeah. I don't
you
get
really
messages
don't
on
know
TikTok.
where those are coming from.
I think
Yeah.
I've gotten a few of those.
No,
Yeah.
I haven't gotten those. I get through my website. But then I also have like a lot of people call me and ask me, hey, can you make a basket for this? Or can you make a basket for
Yeah,
that? And I love to
those
put,
I always
yeah.
do.
I'll always do those, especially if it's somebody that I know, if it's a good cause, because in addition to giving the donation, people are also seeing, like a lot of things that we do is like they'll have like the baskets will all be lined up and people will
Right.
bid on the baskets and they're looking at it, they're seeing your products. So it's not just the one person who gets it. It's all the people at whatever event
Right.
are going to, it's a way to get your name out there and
Right.
It is.
do that as well. But you kind of feel like
Well,
a little
Kitty,
creepy for that part of it.
Kitty talked
Yeah.
about that with her thing. She said, keep your label on because then people will see it when they're in a better position. And
Yeah, they might order from you.
and I don't think that we've necessarily gained any customers from any of the baskets we've donated, to be perfectly honest. But when we, I'll talk more about our charitable foundation that we are partnered with, an official charity partner with. And they even said, she said, we absolutely want you to have labels on your product because we have thousands of volunteers that come through here and they're going to see it.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and I know some people want to donate silently and that's completely fine. And some people find it distasteful maybe to say like, well, it's also advertising, but it truly is. I mean,
It is. That's what I was going to say. Like, it gives you that, like, sometimes you get a little cringe feeling.
yeah.
I don't know, we shouldn't, but, What, do you involve your customers in your charity?
Yes.
How?
Well, for
I do.
one,
I
like,
already said.
yeah, so we talk about, you talk about if you're making a specific soap, say like, listen, I made this soap. All the proceeds, that's what the first thing we did. All the proceeds are going to go to this foundation. And this is what the foundation is. And this is why we're giving it, this backstory. And then people feel like they are contributing in a way.
Right.
And then we're going forward, we're going to have more stuff. So.
Well, because, when you come together to donate, it makes it, maybe
so much more.
I want to donate to this specific cause and my $10 isn't doing much. But if I buy a $10 bar of soap and that goes to the organization, all of those together, it can amount to a big donation.
Right.
Do you have any other ways to involve customers in donation besides just buying the soap? Like some people will say, if you would like to contribute, they have just a monetary thing you could put on your website where you could just contribute to a cause. I don't do that.
I don't do that either, but I tell you what, I've had a lot of my customers do when I do my veteran-themed soaps where, all the proceeds go to, like, Gary Sneed's Foundation or the Patriotic Kennedy Foundation. I have a lot of customers that will buy a bar or 5 of that soap, and they'll put in the notes, like they won't have a shipping address. They'll select local pickup, and they'll put, gift this to a veteran.
Well, I have an option on the soap that I do for my brother, the Get Clean, Stay Clean. It's a ship to me or ship to veteran. So they get the choice right at checkout. Like some people will buy like 1 bar for themselves and 3 or 4 bars shipped to a veteran. And then I take that myself to...
Right, I did that when I bought that soap. I bought 1 bar.
Oh, yeah, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
I bought another bar for to gift somebody. So
Do you? I know some people do matching gifts. So, like, for every bar you buy, I will donate a bar or things. I haven't done that yet. Have either of you done that?
No, but what we have coming up, because with the My Stuff Bags Foundation, I'm doing the guest size bars to go into the bags for the kids. Mm-hmm. Which, if anybody's listening doesn't know what that is, it's a foundation that gives duffel bags filled with age-appropriate items to kids who are going to like foster care or homeless shelters, or like even when they had those fires out, the Palisades fires out there, so many people were affected. They were doing it for that. So any sort of crisis situation. And one of the things.
What's the name of the foundation again?
My Stuffed Bags Foundation.
My Stuffed Bags.
So
okay.
we
You said it so fast I couldn't
My
understand.
Stuff Bags.
Okay.
We got
and
something similar to that down here called buddy bags.
yeah.
They do the same kind of thing.
So they send out like 20,000 or more bags a year. And one of the things they have is toiletry kits. They have toiletry kits, so we are starting to provide soap for them. And we can't afford yet to do all the soaps on our own, right? So we're working with them. They said, we don't want you to go bankrupt doing this. We want you to help with the soaps. We'd rather get product than get money for that kind of thing because it's a lot easier for them. But we don't want you to go bankrupt. And so what we're doing is we're going to set up, we're in the process of setting up on our website where you can buy soaps to donate to the foundation. So like you can help support the foundation by buying the soaps that we then send to them. And that way we can have a wider reach. We can do more that way than if we're just trying to make them all ourselves and going bankrupt trying to provide soaps for this.
Right.
So that's
I was gonna,
that's
yeah,
what
I
we're
was
going to
gonna
have
ask
on our website.
if you good.
We don't have it up yet, so it'll be like, buy a bar or you buy 5 bars or whatever and send it, and all the money is going to go. So even if it's like the money you send is going to cover the soap and shipping and all that other stuff. Soap's heavy to ship, we all know that.
Yeah.
But all the money is going to go, and record keeping is a big, very important thing in all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to help, and that's a way people can get involved and help with things, and also they are going to, once we get it up and running, they have a bigger reach than I do social media wise right now. They are going to send people to our website saying, hey, if you want to help, we'd like get a soap. You can go to this website, buy some soap. It'll come and we'll put it in the bags. And then like they said, they have thousands of volunteers that come through and fill these bags every year. So she's like, please put your logo on there. So people, they see your logo and they'll go check you out. So they're very big on like, hey, and they have some very big companies that they partner with too. So I feel very honored to be one of them, but they like Bombas. They're partnered with Bombas, for crying out loud. So
nice.
Oh, wow.
Here's an aside question. Complete squirrel.
Yeah.
How are you going to wrap those little
Tangentially
tiny
related.
soaps? How are you going
Change
to
your
wrap those
eyes.
little soaps with your
Right
label?
now, I'm going to make a special label with them. I'm going to put them in colorful Mylar bags. They're unscented soaps. I'm swirling color in them because I'm like, just because you're in a crisis situation, the soap should still look fun, right?
Right.
I'm starting out with colored Mylar bags, little small ones, because I figure that if they're moving and they still have soap, they can put it back in the Mylar bag and it'll protect it.
Right.
Good idea.
I also got some of these little takeout condiment containers that they might fit into. I'm messing with different things. I think eventually, if I settle on the exact shape, because they're like 1 ounce bars, and if this really takes off, that I'll eventually get boxes made for them or something, or we'll find somebody to donate little travel soap containers. One or the other. I don't know yet. It would be good.
I think the Mylar bag is a really good option.
Yeah. So
It's a little less elegant, but it's more functional.
Yeah.
Yeah. My next question was going to be, have you ever done a charity collaboration with other makers or other businesses? Obviously you have, because you're with My Stuff Bag. How about you, Jessie? Have you ever worked with an organization directly, or just you're doing everything on your own and then...
I mean, I've worked directly with the Patriotic Kidney Foundation, and I've worked directly with a rehab type company called... Crap, I can't even remember their name.
Uh-oh.
Innovation Life Center, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look. Hang on. Let me swap my country leather page. Innovative Life Center or something other like that. Integrative Life Center.
Integrative Life Center.
Yeah, I've partnered with them a few times, and it's been more along the lines of not really. Not really a donation, but I gave them a break, like a huge break on a price for sample size bars that they have included. English is hard. Included for these little goodie bags that they give to clients that they want to come to their rehab centers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they deal with all types of addiction, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, sexual addiction. They do it all.
Yeah.
So,
Has giving back affected your business in any unexpected ways?
affected my business?
I don't know if it necessarily has. I know that when we did, kind of how we ended up being charity partners with the foundation that we did, was my husband's on a forum online of a bunch of guys, and they love doing charity things. And when they found out there was a post about soap, and then my husband chimed in and says, "Hey, we can answer a few questions about soap since we actually make it." And by we, I mean me.
Hey.
He was asking me all the questions and giving the answers on the forum. But they said, "Hey, if you ever decide to do a fundraiser, let us know." And so we said we were going to make a fundraiser soap for these guys to buy first before anybody else. And we went through several different charity ideas before my husband found this charity and said, "Okay, we're going to donate." And then as he was talking to the CEO of the company, who was also the founder, she said, "One of the things that we need really desperately is soap." And the reason they need it is because hotels, they were always people would gather soaps from hotels while they travel and donate it. And they're not doing that anymore.
No, because I have a whole bag of Disney stuff to donate, because I take all the soaps and stuff, then I give I donate them to a friend who we give them to a local homeless shelter here. And the Disney ones, I do all that. But now all the hotels, they make those big jars and they just do the refill pumps, and so it kind of stinks because you're getting
Getting shafted.
You can't steal all the soaps to give away.
That's true. So that she brought up, she's like, one of the things we desperately need is soap. And he was like, "Oh, I just happen to know somebody who makes soap." So that's how we ended up with this ongoing thing. And it's just starting to get started. Like, we are official charity partners, but we don't actually have it up running yet. I have several already made. We need to make it officially official.
How about you, Jessie? Has it affected your business in any ways?
I don't know if it's really affected my business, but the way I look at charity work is I don't do it for a benefit. I just do it because I feel led to do it, because it will enrich somebody else's life. We've all had low spots in our lives, and we've all of us have needed a hand up. And I try to be a hand up any way I can. So, if I've had a benefit from it, I mean, I don't think of it in that way.
Now, I was going to say, I got let off, we're a squirrel. The reason it was a benefit is because some of those guys in the group have come back and ordered more soaps and since then. So they become regular customers. But
the only thing that has happened, like when I donate, is more people just ask to donate. So that is an unexpected side of donating. Once you walk through
that door, you cannot close it.
Yeah, you gotta keep donating. True.
And I felt bad this past year. One group that I had donated to every single year, I just dropped the ball and never did donate. But at the same time, I was like, I felt like also needed to help some other people too. So, you can't give from an empty cup, right? So.
Right.
Well, that's kind of like talking about something similar to that. One of the craft events that I'm a vendor at, I've only missed 1 year, and almost 7 years that I've been going there as a vendor. They've recently started this thing where they've got a website that you can go register online instead of mailing a check and like filling out a form with a pen. You can actually go online and register. And I've always been late to sign up. Always been late. Because who thinks about filling out a form nowadays and writing a check and putting something in the mailbox? I don't think about it. And they've got to where you can fill it out online. And I saw where we had that option this year. And, it's June? This thing is in November. I'm 5 months early.
Woohoo!
But you've got that little thing in the back of your mind. What if I get really busy and I don't have time to do this. And I thought about it, I'm like, if I don't have time to do it, it's benefiting the George County Fine Arts Committee.
Yeah.
I'm not really losing money.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Or you could, if you knew another small business who could really use a hand up, you could always donate your table to them.
I don't
Maybe.
know if they'll let me do that.
Ooh. That would be cool if you could, though.
Is it a jury?
It would. Well, it's a handcrafted only festival though. So
Right.
if you don't produce your stuff, you can't be a vendor there.
Right, and a lot of the stuff that we've talked about here is very specific to like soap making, but there, you can always have fundraisers. You can always donate to raffles or fundraisers.
Yep.
You know, things like that.
Right, but also I would say that a lot of the stuff that we were even talking about is just product based. So like when we say, you know, we can, for the soap that I just buy one and or ship one to a veteran, you could do that with any product. You could, you know, I'm selling mugs, you know, buy one or ship one, or proceeds will go to, that can go for any kind of tangible
Oh, absolutely.
product.
Anything.
It sounds soap specific, and you know, any business can make baskets. You know, you have a cake pop business, you can make baskets out of that. So,
and even for something like that, you could even go so much as making like a community basket. Like if you live in a community of sorts where there's several different handcrafted businesses or whatever, get an assortment of stuff. That way you're, you know, if you go buy from this business down the road, like go buy a tumbler from them, and t-shirt shop down the road, go buy from them, make a community basket. You have supported your community just by buying the product, plus you're supporting a great cause by putting a basket together and putting it, you know, giving it to a good cause for an auction. There's so many ways to incorporate your business and neighboring businesses.
Right. Do you ever find that charitable giving feels like a burden or onerous? One rouse.
I can get a little, I guess you could say onerous when, like we said, people you don't even know are messaging you asking for a basket or for free stuff. And we've all gotten the emails for free stuff, and you're like, I don't even know who you are, or if this thing you're asking about is real.
It's legit, right?
That part can get a little overwhelming, I guess you would say.
You don't have time to vet everybody. You just don't.
Yeah. I also find that what you were saying before, the record keeping.
Yeah.
Like the record keeping because when you're doing that, I can't mingle any of that charity stuff with my stuff. So you really have to be pretty much on your game with that. We actually,
because it's soap making related, we actually had talked to at least one supplier about supplying materials for it if they would be interested in participating. And if they did supply materials, I would have to keep all those materials separate and document every single time, you know, I'm using this stuff from these people, and that would be kind of a pain in the rear end. But
I would
this is
donate it.
this is why I need to work on my Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah. I mean, the website keeps track of a lot on its own. You know, it'll keep track of the number of purchases, the types of purchases.
Right.
But it doesn't keep track of, you know, there's a lot more that goes into it before, you know, besides
right, the batches and everything. So.
Do you share your giving openly, or do you keep some of it private, and why?
Because, you know, that we were talking about kind of that icky feeling, like you don't want to brag about it because then it makes it seem disingenuous.
Yep.
We talk about the My Stuff bag thing just because we're trying to bring people in to purchase the soaps to send to benefit the foundation.
You don't have a choice. You have to do it when it's something like
that.
Right.
But like a lot of the gift baskets we donated, no, I don't advertise. I mean, every once in a while I might take a picture just to say like, hey, you know, if you want to buy a gift basket or put together a gift basket, I can do that for you. But
now I have done it as far as posting on Facebook to draw attention to the event.
The raffle.
Right. Yeah.
That, you know,
go bid on this.
Was going to go bid on this. But not as, oh, look at me, I've made a donation. No, that's cheesy, that's slimy, that's ugh.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
why, like, it becomes kind of hard. Like, do I post and say, go bid on this? But then it's like drawing attention to the fact that I donated it, or do I just not say anything and then hope someone bids on it? You know?
Well, the way I do it is I'll post a picture of it, and I'll like try to steal a picture of the event off of Facebook and do them side by side. Like, hey, go support this. It's a good cause. They're gonna have some great soap and other products there to bid on. You know,
Right.
just trying to, as a whole, draw attention to it.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll take pictures of baskets and stuff, mostly just to send to the people, like, hey, this is your basket. I'll drop it off Friday or whatever. And then sometimes I'll put those pictures on my website to show, like, hey, this is something we can do. This is an option that we have. But for the baskets and stuff that we do for donations, I typically don't announce that. And then we also do give some stuff separately that, you know. And you don't mention it at all because you get that ick feeling. Exactly what you're talking about, like that. I'm doing this to give. I'm not doing this to get
Glory from it.
Right.
Right.
But you should still keep good records and submit it in your taxes.
Yes. Yes.
Even though you're doing a good thing, you're not doing it to benefit yourself. You should still.
Right. I mean, it shouldn't cost me anything more than the donation itself. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Have you learned any lessons or had surprises from your giving journey?
To pay attention with what stamp you're stamping your soap with when you're doing a veteran-themed soap.
Uh-oh.
Ask me how I know. I made a batch of soap for a foundation, and I just was busy right after I moved in. Wasn't thinking about it. Stamped the soap with Country Leather instead of Patriotic Kenny Foundation.
Oh, whoops.
So I remade all that. So, you know, I still sent them both batches. I said,
Right.
look,
Right.
if you don't want to use this, give this out, give it to a veteran foundation.
You could have stamped the Patriot Kenny on the other side, too, and then it would have been
Well,
two-sided of it.
Here's the thing. I had on the label, like, it was made at Country Leather Soap Works,
Right.
but I didn't really want to draw attention to my brand.
Gotcha.
You know, so I think the original idea was to, like, one of the other veteran soaps that I did, not for a specific foundation, but for a sale on my website, to then give the proceeds to the Gary Sinise Foundation. I stamped my logo on the side, like on the side of the bar.
Right.
And I had like a custom stamp. It was for the Medal
Children,
of Honor
right?
recipient, John Chapman.
Yes, that's the one my cousin bought.
Yeah.
The
It had
John Chapman
Valor
stuff.
on it. Yeah. So, but yeah. Make sure you use the right stamp if you're doing something special.
Well, that and for donations and then also custom orders and stuff. Like I do a lot of custom
That's
orders
just,
with different stamps.
You know,
Same thing.
good business practice. Make sure you're using the right stamp.
Double check what
check.
you're doing before you do it.
Never hurts.
Has giving donations helped build customer loyalty or brand reputation in any way? Measurable way.
I don't think, well, like I said, you know, I have some customers as a result of that one soap that we made and sold, but I don't think yet. I think once we get the donation soaps ready to go rolling for the foundation, I think there might be some then. So we'll have to circle back and check later, maybe in a year or something.
I don't know. Like I said, before I haven't really paid attention to that. So I don't have a metric I can give you.
Yeah,
Right.
it's hard to measure. I don't know that it's built any customer loyalty or any brand reputation, but I do know that the people that see you regularly and see that you're doing these things, it's got to be in the back of their head somewhere, like, this is a good person. They're doing good things, you know.
You hope so.
Yeah, you hope that it does. I don't know that
Right.
there's any way to measure that even, but it's a thought. Do you share how much you've donated or your impact stories with your audience?
Yes, I have. I have because frequently on TikTok you run into businesses and creators and such as that have like these donation drives and such as that, and then they're accused of not sending the money to where it goes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I have both times that I donated, every time that I've donated to a foundation, whether it was the Gary Sneeze Foundation or the Patriotic Kenny Foundation, I have actually videoed and just kind of squiggled out like information I don't want out there to show, see, it did go. It went
right.
I sold these amount of soaps, then this amount came from every soap, this amount was sent to that foundation.
Now we do intend on having or talking about having a counter, and that was actually
Okay. Go on.
I was going to say that the foundation actually had the idea. They said people love to see the impact they're making or see a counter or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So we hope to eventually have a counter on there like you have helped donate this many bars
people.
of soap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea.
As we go forward. That way, people like they can see their contribution adding up and such. So
Yeah. Do you guys feel challenged in balancing giving with maintaining profitability?
I think though that that's just something you have to be aware of. Like you don't want to give till you break because, like I said earlier, you can't give from an empty cup, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I guess people who go to church, they tithe. They have a certain so maybe you can set a certain percentage of sales, or just once or twice a year, or just make a soap for donation or something.
My next question
that's
was,
what I try to do.
do you set a budget or a percentage of profits dedicated to giving annually? That was my next question. So yeah, it's probably a good idea to look at your bottom line and go like, this is how much I can afford to give comfortably, and then make that your goal. Do you give seasonally? Do you give ongoing? Or is it like event driven?
I typically do, like I said, mine's centered around veterans typically. So I typically do a Veterans Day type soap that's like geared around one specific veteran, typically a Medal of Honor recipient.
Mm-hmm.
But so I mean, I'll do that. Veterans Days in November, and I typically do that once a year. Now, one thing I didn't mention earlier, another really good way to give back is like I'm a part of the Eco Soap Bank, Scrap Pack, and I think it's $30 a month that's pulled from my account, and that goes towards paying the salaries of the ladies that work overseas at these little facilities in third world countries to cut soap and such as that. That's then donated to kids. But like me and I think Royalty Soaps, Soap Gal, and Dr. Bronner's, several different soap companies, they are part of that as well, and we send our scraps off to Eco Soap Bank, which is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And those scraps are actually taken and ground up and sent overseas, where they're further processed and put through extruders and make whole new bars of soap. So that's another great option as well that can come out like on a monthly basis. They can be written off.
Right. How does giving as a business make you feel personally?
Anytime you give, it makes you feel good about yourself. I mean, you just do.
And in an earlier episode, we spoke about when do you feel like your business is successful? And I think every single one of us said that when you can give back to the community, and even when you can create jobs, it feels like that. Even if you never become a huge name, at least you're doing something for other people. And I think,
I feel somebody else.
I feel better because I can give more as a business than I do personally.
Right.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It makes you feel warm and fuzzy?
Yeah, it gives me all the warm and fuzzies. Yeah.
I didn't wear my warm and fuzzy. I'm just
my new
country
shirt.
bumpkin.
I-
I my hair for hat.
What advice would you give to other small business owners who want to start who want to start giving?
I would say, first of all, you need to figure out what you're passionate about. Like, Jessie's very passionate about veterans. I would do veterans too, but then we found this foundation that supports children in crisis. So, I mean, you have to figure out what you're passionate about, and then you need to do some homework on the foundations before you start to give, because there are a lot of them out there that are kind of shady.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to look at the bottom lines of those not foundations, but the charitable stuff, and see, how much does your CEO make, and how much of every dollar is going to the actual charity as opposed to salaries
and that information is easier to get these days. And if it's not easy to get, maybe you should be avoiding that one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There needs to be transparency in whatever you're giving to.
Yeah, he's speaking.
And the bottom line is, you can't give to everybody.
Right.
I mean, you can't. It's like you can't make every product there is out there. You can't give to everybody. But all of us as a business can center in on just a couple of foundations, and that way everybody gets a little bit of everything.
Right.
Right.
So it's whatever you're passionate about, I think, is what you should look for, because then it becomes personal to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Good record keeping.
I've got
definitely get some good record keeping too.
I've got a this or that charity edition. All right.
You're loving this or that thing.
I do like that. It's a little, it's lighthearted, it's quick, and it's, it gets us moving on to the next things. I only got 8 of them today. Ready? Donating only 8. Donating product or donating money?
Product.
I'd rather donate money.
Really? I'd rather donate product, and I don't know why. Giving to local causes or national and global charities?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, a combination. I like a combination. Publishing your giving or keeping it private?
I would rather keep it private, but I publish it because it's going to benefit the foundation itself.
Exactly.
That, and cover your own butt, especially on social media, so you're not accused of pocketing the proceeds, because there's a lot of that goes on.
Yeah. One big annual donation or smaller ongoing gifts?
Ongoing.
I mean, I do both. So
I prefer the annual ones.
I mean,
it's just easier to keep track of.
Yeah, I mean, I like them both. I mean, it's, I don't prefer one way or the other.
Giving time and volunteering or giving cash and product?
I love to volunteer.
Yeah.
I love to volunteer. I don't have time to volunteer.
That's what I was going to say.
I had rather volunteer, because
Right.
I like to work with a community and get your hands dirty, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my assets are better through monetary donations.
Right.
Because they can benefit the most people.
Mm-hmm. So when I was in college, I was in a service fraternity, and it was all about that. And I always said I'd rather give time than money. Now I just don't have the time. So.
Yeah.
Do you?
And to be honest, I mean, you benefit more people with money.
Right.
So.
Or material donations, yeah.
Right. Do you prefer charity collaborations with other businesses or solo efforts?
Currently, solo efforts because it's easier.
Yeah, I haven't done any collabs, so I don't have a metric to go by on that.
Matching customer donations or just accepting them?
I haven't taken any customer donations.
I kind of
monetary,
feel like,
but I mean in the form of purchases.
Yeah.
You do, but you could do a match, like for every bar you buy, for every 10 bars I sell, I'm going to donate one or something like that.
I don't like keeping up with records like that.
I know, it's so.
I kind of feel like
just give the money.
I kind of feel like whenever doing the soap, like if you're donating everything, like I said $10 a bar, and I donate all $10 a bar, I kind of feel like the materials and time I put into it are part of my donation, and then the rest of the money is their donation. That's how I look at it.
I kind of feel that way
head.
too. That is a way of volunteering, because you're volunteering your time that it takes to make the soap. You're not charging them for that and all that kind of stuff. Whatever. How about seasonal campaigns or spontaneous giving?
I'm spontaneous.
Well, I mean, mine's seasonal because it's always around Veterans Day.
I like the seasonal because it's easier to keep track of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. Should I wrap it up?
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Thanks so much for turning into the Dirty Heifers Podcast. We hope this episode inspired you to think about how your business can give back, whether it's big or small, public or private. Remember, giving is personal, and it doesn't have to feel onerous to make a difference. If you enjoyed the show, you
got her.
Onerous.
If you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and leave us a comment or a review. It really helps us keep making great content for makers like you. And if you're interested in being a guest on the show, or you have a story about giving through your business, hit us up. We haven't gotten any farm fresh feedback requests, so if you'd like us to check out your social media pages, your website, your Etsy store, whatever, and give you some supportive tips, email us at dirtyheifers@gmail.com or message us directly on any of our platforms. We would love to take a look at your stuff, and you get a shout out on here and on the show. So don't be shy, hit us up. And until next time, keep your hands soapy, your heart open, and stay dirty, heifers.